Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, in this video, I'm sorry all my videos are a bit at strange times at the moment. Got a lot going on, good things, with number one son. More work, he's got another job and I'm more taxiing than ever. And then, of course, I'm back into doing my Spanish classes now in January. So, I just have to sort of, as far as live videos are concerned, and in fact, any videos at the moment, I'm trying to do quite a few videos. I just have to sort of jump on when I can. And, I'm sorry that the times are all over the place. But anyway, what I'm going to talk to you about in this video is the latest sort of revelations, if you like, about what happened to John George. Now, John, of course, this is a case we've been following since, well, before Christmas, haven't we? This is John George. John went missing just before Christmas. Came out to Spain. This was a case that I followed right from the word go because, of course, it's in Spain. And I'm in Spain. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm based in Spain. I'm not that far away I'm not close by what happened to John, but I'm not that far away either. So it instantly caught my attention when John first went missing. And this is the story of John George, 37 years old, father of two, a son, a brother, a grandson, a partner, an uncle, a cousin, a nephew, all those things. Went a little bit the wrong way in life for various reasons that we've gone into in previous videos. And, as I've said many times, lots of people go the wrong way in life, don't they? And some of them get a chance to recover and go the right way. Other people don't. You've got people like, feel like that a bit with Axel Ruder-Cabana with the Southport incident. But he went more than the wrong way, wasn't he? He's a truly evil person. I don't think with John he was an evil person. I think he just went a little bit off the rails, didn't he? And he got involved with the wrong people. As many sort of young lads do, especially lads, but girls too. And anyway, eventually John, unfortunately, what happened to John was just awful. So John was murdered in Spain, in a foreign country. His family had to come out here and look for him, knowing that he was deceased, but not knowing where his body was. They were basically, right from the word go, looking for John George's body in a foreign country with the language barrier, the sort of system barrier, if you like, not knowing how things work in Spain. I mean, it just must have been awful. Added to that, of course, they were given all the wrong information as to where John actually even was, where his body was. So they started off searching in completely the wrong place. In fact, they were always searching in the wrong place. They got a professional team, a search team out from Northern Ireland and other countries with search dogs to help, and they did their very best, but they were never going to find John because John was nowhere near the places where they had been told to search. So that was an added cruelty that was given to this family, giving them not only, saying, giving them a large area to work with, but it was completely wrong area. They could have searched that area they were searching for a year. They would never have found John because John was miles away from the Orihuela Costa. He was in Rojales, in a lemon grove. That's where his body was lying out in the elements for over a month, wasn't it? Was it over a month or just under a month? So that's the case, that we've been looking at. Now, the latest thing that has come out recently, I think it was this morning, I put a video out, or yesterday, but I didn't do a live. There has been now arrest warrants put out for someone, the person hasn't been named. I think we have to understand how the Spanish police work in total secrecy, and we have to respect that. I won't be saying any names because I don't want to prejudice any future trials. That's not the way it works in Spain. I don't think that's the way it works anywhere, actually. You cannot name people until, judges or courts decide that you can. That's the way it is, and we don't like it. We want transparency, we want answers, and that's just us. We're not even John George's family. John George's family want answers much more than we do. They're the ones who have to live with it every day. We can go on to other cases. Tomorrow we'll wake up, we're not missing our loved one. It's a different situation for us. It must be terrible for John George's family because, they want this situation resolved. They want to name the perpetrator. They're probably right who the perpetrator is, but it doesn't make any difference as far as the police are concerned. The Guardia Civil or all the authorities in Spain have got to follow the Spanish rules. And the rules are they're not naming anybody. Somebody was arrested, of course, and released on bail. They're suspected of aiding and abetting in the murder of John. And now these 3 arrest warrants have gone out for one person. Now, this has caused confusion because there's 3 arrest warrants gone out. So people are saying, well, who are the 3 people? It's not 3 people. It's 3 different kinds of arrests. Let's have a look at those first. The actual arrest warrants that have gone out. Because, here we are. We'll look at this BBC article first, just talking about the actual arrest warrants. So there's been an international arrest warrant issued by Spanish authorities for the man suspected of murdering the 37-year-old father of 2. Now, just a little bit of research on social media will give you the name of that person. Probably most of you know who the name of that person is, but I'm not actually going to mention their name because I don't want to compromise any future, any future case that might come up. But they're talking about the international arrest warrant, but there are 2 other arrest warrants as well. So let's have a look at those. So as I say, it's caused a lot of confusion because some people think, well, 3 arrest warrants, is it 3 different people? It's not. It's one person, but 3 different type of arrest warrants. I did have this prepared, but as usual, it's either disappeared or I'm just not finding it. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, 3 separate arrest warrants are now out for the individual suspected of carrying out the killing of John George. And these were issued at Torrevieja's Court of Instruction number 2 on the request of the prosecutors. So let's have a look. What do they? 3 orders against the alleged material author of the death of the British citizen whose body was discovered in Rocales near Torrevieja earlier this month. And this suspect's whereabouts are currently unknown. So what are the different arrest warrants? So there's an international one. There must be an international one, a national one. Let's see. It's always very confusing in Spain when you're trying to understand the way things work. Why isn't there just one arrest warrant issued. Why are there 3 issued? But it must be 3 different departments, if you like, or 3 different sections. International, national, and what would, there you go, there it is. So it's an international search and arrest warrant, a European arrest warrant, and a national search and arrest warrant. So we've got international, European, and national. But it's only for one person. So some of the confusion that's ensued is people were thinking, oh, there's 3 arrest warrants. 3 arrest warrants. Is that 3 different people? Who are those 3 different people? It's not 3 different people. It's one person, 3 different warrants. National, European, and international. So this person, who probably most of you know who it is, or you may have seen their name. I actually don't know who it is. You're presuming it's this person whose name's been bandied around, but it could be someone completely different. I'm not going to name them, but that is who is one person. So people who are thinking, well, is it that person and then a girl and then another person, people that are concerned with this case? No. It's just this one person. That's who the warrant. It's one warrant, really, isn't it? It's one arrest warrant, but it's international, European, and national. So it's just a matter of time. It's TikTok. It's definitely going to happen. This person's, I think, you have to rely on the process in Spain. Or anywhere, I suppose it's the same anywhere, isn't it? It's frustrating because you always want things to happen now. Why hasn't this person been arrested now? Why hasn't this happened? Why hasn't that happened? But, you have to rely on the process and the legal process. If you want this person to be successfully brought to justice, the best thing is to not mention their name, to not say, because you cannot give the defense lawyers anything to work with when it comes to a court case. You cannot give the defense lawyers anything to work with, can you? So anyway, that's the good news that happened. I think it was either this morning or yesterday. These arrest warrants were issued. So we know that the police are looking for this person. Then a sad thing that's sort of come out today. The whole thing is sad, obviously. When you lose your family member, it's sad. You can't sort of turn it round you can't spin it any other way. John George is deceased. His family are never going to see him again in the physical world. It turns out now the funeral has been delayed. And it seems like it's been delayed because there are further forensic examinations going on, and that is a good thing. It doesn't feel good. Obviously, it's horrible to think of your loved one undergoing a forensic examination, a post-mortem, now another post-mortem. It's horrible to think about that. But at the end of the day, I think what most family members will want is justice for John. They will want whoever did this to be held accountable properly. And it's getting more complicated already because now I think we've known right from the beginning, or the Guardia Civil have said right from the beginning that they thought that John George was shot, and he was shot during the fiestas under the cover of the noise from the fiestas, the fireworks going off. That's what the Guardia Civil have said from day one, really, haven't they, of this investigation? And they've said that for various reasons. For the CCTV that they had from the area around where they think it happened, they'll probably have audio as well from asking neighbours about the comings, and apparently there was a lot of comings and goings, wasn't there, from the property, probably, as I say, audio captured, etc. For the Guardia to even say anything, they would not say anything unless they were pretty sure that is what had happened. So that's what they've said from the beginning. Now, then it's thought that was John's body then taken from the apartment in Orwell Costa and taken, a fair distance away, at least 30 minutes, if not 40 minutes away, depending on which way they went, maybe 30 minutes. We don't know we don't know, I'm sure the Guardian know, the route that the killers took from the apartment where John George was to where they dumped him in the lemon groves in Rockhallis. The police have probably got reason to know, which way they went, etc. There'll be number plate recognition. If they went along the motorway, there will definitely be CCTV on the motorway. There's a toll on that motorway. There's a toll where you have to, put your card in or pay cash. But I'm sure there are cameras there to get John to the location where they finally dumped him, which was just off the motorway. If they went that way, there are different ways where you can go to that location. I don't think they will have known the back roads there, but maybe they would. But why would they? But anyway, possibly they did. There's is where John's location was. I'm going to do this one day. I'm going to show it you properly, the whole drive of the different ways they might have gone. They could have gone along the motorway and cut in. So you'd go along the motorway sort of veers off to the left from where the apartment is, and then you would cut into the right to where John was dumped. Or they could have gone along the coast road, which is like a sort of, it's not a motorway, but it's a big sort of, the N332 is like the coast road, a dual carriageway road. They could have gone that way and cut into the left. Rockhallis is sort of in the middle of the motorway and the coast road. Or they could have not gone that way at all. They could have gone all the back way. If they would have known the back way roads, they could have gone that way to that location. So there are three different ways that they could have actually got there. Probably did they go on the motorway? That's the easiest way. I suppose for people who don't know the area, did they know that area? Why did they take him to that spot? As some people think, maybe they Googled a spot, that was desolate, to dump his body, but they put him on private property. Would that even, maybe that wouldn't show up on Google or whatever, that this was, maybe it just looked like an expanse of wilderness just off the motorway. And so they thought, oh, that'll do. Maybe they didn't realize it was private property. We still don't know for certain how they actually found him. Were they given a tip? Did they find him because of data and because of following the car? If it was a rental car, were they following? Did it have a tracker on it? There's still a lot that we don't know and that we probably won't know until the trial. So that's where we were with that. Now it transpires that it seems like John, and how much, heartache does this family have to go through? There's not only he was shot, that's what the Guardia have said right from the beginning, that they believe John was shot. But now they're saying they also believe he was stabbed before he was shot. So it seems like John was subject to a sustained attack, one way or another. It's just beyond belief to think how that feels to the family, isn't it? Really, it's bad enough to think, oh, if you found out your family member had been shot, that's bad enough. Just the fact they're dead is bad enough. Then when you have to, you would think, I think for me, I would think, well, I hope it was quick at least. I think they didn't know anything. But now what's coming out today, that John was probably stabbed before he was shot. That is just, it's just heartbreaking, isn't it? Because that suggests torment, doesn't it? That suggests, that suggests a longer amount of torture or torment. But anyway, let me show this article that talks about it. This one's the BBC. Belfast man was stabbed before he was shot, says lawyer. Now, John's funeral was actually supposed to be this Friday originally. I believe he is in Ireland now, is he? The body has been, as far as I heard, the body had been taken to Ireland. But if the body's been taken to Ireland, is this a second post-mortem that's happened in Ireland? Or rather, is this as a result of, because at the end of the day now, what happens these days is, bodies are scanned, aren't they? When bodies are taken to the forensic department, to the morgue, etc., scans are made, x-rays, etc. I don't know, maybe one of you out there, because I know some of the family do watch these videos. Where is John at the moment? Is he back in the UK? Is he back in Northern Ireland, or is he still in Spain? But anyway, now they're saying he was stabbed before he was shot. An autopsy carried out on murdered West Belfast man John George showed he was stabbed before being shot, according to the family solicitor. We can confirm that the family have received an autopsy report from the Spanish authorities, and the findings point to John having been stabbed before being shot. He said that as a precautionary measure. So this is probably why the funerals. So I think from this, and I hope I'm right, and somebody will put me right if I'm not, sounds like John is in Northern Ireland. And then when they got this autopsy report from the Spanish authorities saying he had been stabbed before he was shot, they've probably asked for a second post-mortem to be done to make sure there was clarity on the cause of death. So their solicitor says, we've instructed another pathologist to conduct a second autopsy on John's remains, and this is to be conducted next week. So that's probably why the funeral has been delayed. So the news comes as this international arrest warrant is issued, and a national arrest warrant and a European arrest warrant, 3 arrest warrants, but for only one person. Yeah. Now, the other thing that has become known is, according to the Sunday World, the reason why John was assassinated was because he refused to work for the crime gang. Now, again, this is John's brother saying this. The police have not confirmed this as far as I know. But it makes sense to me, to be honest, because, I know John, as his family has admitted right from the beginning, he wasn't an angel. He got involved in things he shouldn't have got involved in. But as far as they knew, anyway, he wasn't involved in things as serious, as murder and things like that. So he said, his brother has said, he was effectively trafficked from Northern Ireland, and he had his passport taken off him on arrival, and he was instructed to work for a criminal gang. Now, one thing we do know from his dad, Billy, is that he had phoned, he was distressed in the phone calls that he made to his family. He was distressed, and his father had said to him, just get a flight home. But that was another thing that came out, was that flight home was booked after he died. Now, who booked that flight then? If it wasn't John who booked it, who did book it? Who booked that flight if it was booked after he's actually supposedly deceased? Who did? Right, I'm just going to say hello to everyone actually, because I forgot to say hello to people in chat. I also want to say hello to lurkers, anyone who's watching at home, anyone who's watching on replay crew. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to see updates on this case and any other case that we're covering. Hi, David. Hi, Admit. Hi, Angel. Hi, Dottie. Hi, Yvonne. Sorry, I'm just working my way. Hi, Casey Travel. There is a back road, Casey. There is. I go down there. Last time when I went there to visit the scene where he was found, I went through all the back roads. There are back roads, but I don't think these people would have known the back roads because, I've lived here 30 years. That's why I know the back roads, and that area, I knew it very well years ago. It's not an area that I've been to for many years, but I used to know it quite well. So, I know the back roads, and I would always go that way because when you live here, you will avoid like the motorway. You don't want to pay the tolls because it doesn't make that much difference. It's not as if you're going on the motorway and you're paying the tolls and it's a lot quicker. It's not any quicker. So you might go on the coast road, or you might go down the back roads probably rather than going on the motorway, because actually the motorway goes a longer way round. It's hard to explain, but I am going to do it. In fact, one day I'm going to do all three ways. I'm going to start from the apartment where John was thought to have been killed, and then take all the three different ways. I've been thinking about it a lot. There's three different ways you could get to that scene. And I think they probably went on the motorway because I think that's the most common, the most known way. Where it's like wherever you live, in the area you live, the back roads, but someone who was just visiting there, they wouldn't know the back roads. They'll go on Google and it'll show them, they'll take the sort of easiest route. You'd take the easiest route. Yeah. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Rosetta. So let's go back to this then. Sorry, I just wanted to say hello to people there. But remember, I want to say hello to lurkers and replay crew as well. So, yeah, this is what his brother says. He says that John was effectively trafficked from Northern Ireland and had his passport taken off him on arrival, where he was instructed to work for a criminal gang. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. All I do know is in that video that we watched, John's last video, or as far as we know, his last phone call, and he made that video, he looks so concerned. Every other picture, video that we've seen of John, he's always smiling. That video was different, wasn't it? If I can find it in a minute, we might watch it one more time. It's very poignant. He looked concerned. Once he started the phone call, whoever that man was that was with him, well, there were more than one person with him. He was looking from side to side. He looked anxious. He sounded drunk or drugged or, maybe a combination of the two. If he was, as his mum said, his mum says he was addicted to, legal drugs, if you like, drugs that he'd had to take when he was sent to a youth offenders hostel to help him sleep, etc. If he was taking them and drinking at the same time and maybe smoking marijuana or even taking harder drugs, we just don't know exactly what he was taking. That should come up in the post-mortem, to be honest, shouldn't it? Whatever drugs he was on. He didn't look like the other videos and photos we've seen of him where he's smiling and carefree. He looked different. He looked anxious. He looked like he was maybe trying to send some sort of a message. He was looking from one side to another. He was in that apartment where the police seem to think that is where he was killed. So now they're saying, according to the autopsy, he was stabbed before he was shot. It's horrible to think of that, isn't it? What did he go through? You know, for John's poor family, that'd be a terrible thing to imagine. And yeah, so there was a guy next to him. The guy picked up his drink and went out onto the patio when John started talking into the phone. Maybe he didn't want to be seen on the phone, didn't want his face to be seen. Did they know what they were going to do to him that night or the next day? You know, he and according to his dad, Billy, he had had that phone call, you know, where he was distressed. And Billy was heartbroken. His dad, Billy, was heartbroken because he actually had an argument with him. That, like, you know, because John, honestly, I so sort of empathise with Billy. John was a bit the black sheep of the family. He'd gone the wrong way. He'd done sort of, what did he call him? He said he was a melter, but he was my melter. You know, he loved him, but he was irritated by the things he was doing. He was frustrated by him. He probably many times tried to put him on the straight and narrow, probably bailed him out a million times. And John just kept, you know, going, maybe doing the wrong thing. And on the last time that Billy spoke to John, they argued, and Billy, you know, has put on his social media, you know, he feels so guilty about that, which he shouldn't feel guilty. But, you know, that happens how many times with your family and your loved ones do you argue? And the next minute the door slams. You know, it could be your son, it could be your partner, it could be your sister, it could be your brother. You know, we all argue in families, don't we? And next minute the door slams and off they go. And then by the time the next day comes, you've made it up with them. But what if the next day never came? They never came back. You had that disagreement with him. Maybe the last thing you said to them was something like, oh, well, F off then, I'm sick of it. You know, because apparently John phoned his dad, Billy, maybe 6-7 times a day. He was always on the phone to him. And I think quite often these people who are family members who, what's the word, they're sort of trying to be the big man or whatever, but they're the ones who need you the most, because they know really inside that they're not maybe doing the right thing and the thing that they should be doing. They need their parents more than anything, even though they might not always show it. You know, it's hard to explain, but I'm sure there's some of you will know what I mean. It's like, you know, if you think back when you were young as well. I mean, John was 37. You should have grown out of that phase. These are phases that a lot of young people go through, and if you're lucky, they come out of them. If you're not lucky, they don't. You know, so John didn't come out of it. And then, of course, we've got an even worse case, haven't we, with Axel Ruder Cabana and the Southport stabbings. He never came out of it, but he was even worse. You know, you know, he was just intent on killing people, killing little children or anyone, really. I don't think John was like that. John was just off on this sort of, I don't know, he just got sort of involved in what he shouldn't have got involved with, but he probably didn't want to get into like the real hardcore bad boy things. He just probably liked the money, and, you know, he was showing off his watch, wasn't he, and this, that and the other. But he wasn't really what you would call a hard man, I don't think. You know, what some people get involved with. Anyway, that's how it comes over to me. I know people would disagree. Some people do leave awful comments about John and his family. Well, you know what? You think what you like. You've got your opinion. But I just hope it never happens to you or your family. And then you might find out what it's like. So, God, I've even forgotten now what I was even saying. So the family of John George believed that the Belfast man was assassinated in a premeditated killing. Now, they'll have a reason to think that. They're not just thinking that for nothing. You know, they will have a reason for thinking that. And the father of two's body was found last Tuesday, that's from the 19th of January, around 40 minutes south of Alicante, under trees on a farm, nearly 3 weeks after he was reported missing. So yeah, his poor family spent 3 weeks searching for him, all over Christmas as well. So, you know, I know 3 weeks is 3 weeks whenever it is, but 3 weeks over Christmas and New Year is especially bad, isn't it? You know, where everyone else is celebrating Christmas, they were searching in sewers and drain pipes and, you know, campo and beaches and things in the completely wrong place for their loved one. Anyway, he was finally found 30 or 40 minutes away from where they thought he might be, under trees on a farm, nearly 3 weeks after he was reported missing. So, in what the George family say is their final media interview, that's interesting. Maybe they've got to a point, I hope so, to be honest, because they shouldn't do media interviews. It's different if they put a post on their Facebook or, you know, give updates. But you know, this is a criminal investigation now. And I think these search warrants that the Guardia have issued now, I know the Guardia won't be moving as quickly as John and his family and all of us will want them to. They just won't be. But they will be doing their job. And I'll tell you, they will get this guy. They will get him. It doesn't matter where he is. They will get him. It doesn't matter if he's gone to Thailand. Doesn't matter where he is, he will be found. The Guardia will find him, either themselves or with their associations with other police forces, Europol, Interpol, you name it. They will find him. But it might not just happen as quickly as obviously John's family want it to happen, because John's family will want it all to happen now. And when they find him, it will not be instant justice, because that doesn't, I mean, he won't be released on parole. I mean, if they find someone and they're actually, the only reason the Czechoslovakian guy has been released on parole is because they don't think he was the actual killer. They think he aided and abetted the killer. But the only reason he's got parole is because they don't think he actually killed him. Now, when they catch the guy that they think actually killed him, he will not get parole. He will be in prison until he is, well, I would imagine so. If he's released, I can't imagine that he'd be released once this arrest has gone out, this international arrest. If he's caught, I cannot imagine that they will release him on parole. I think he will be kept in prison until the court case. It is a strange system in Spain. I don't think he's going to get a massive long sentence. We were talking about that the other day. You don't get massive sentences in Spain. Don't know why. It's really odd. But if you think the sentences are short in the UK, you know, in Spain, you know, I don't know what the... I literally don't know. Maybe you get 15 years, possibly 20 as a maximum, I would imagine, if they can prove premeditation. The thing is, in Spain, it's so arbitrary. You can't even go by precedent or, you know, or, well, someone who did a similar thing, they got that. That doesn't work in Spain. It's just like, depends on the judge on the day what they decide. He may get a longer sentence if he gets a different kind of judge, you know. So it's that he could get anything between sort of 15 and 30 years, really. But I don't think he's going to get life as we think of. I don't think he's going to get life for the rest of his life. Anyway, in what the George family says their final media interview, he's devastated. Younger brother Darren revealed how the 37-year-old was shot dead after refusing to take part in criminal activity in Spain. Now, that's possible, isn't it? Maybe he did. He said that John was effectively trafficked from Northern Ireland and had his passport taken off him on arrival, where he was instructed to work for a criminal gang, an order they believe he refused, and ultimately led to his death. Now, it's just as possible as any other theory. I mean, why did they do it? This is a question that rattles through my head, because they can't possibly have thought they could get away with it, could they? There's always a reason for doing things, even if the reason was just that they were off their head on coke and, or drunk or whatever. Even if that was a reason, there's always a reason. You don't just kill someone for nothing, even these twonks. They've got to have, it might not be a reason that makes sense to us, but there is a reason. Some people have thought, did he owe them money? Was it a failed drug deal that he did? Well, we just don't know yet. But this reason that his brother's putting forward is just as likely as any other reason. Maybe the reason was, why did he phone his dad all distressed? What was this distressed phone call that he had? Did he realise that they were trying to get him to do something he didn't want to do, and he knew that he'd be in danger not doing it, but he didn't want to do it, and and then his dad Billy said to him, come home, but at the end of the day he was out in Spain. He could have gone maybe to the embassy or the consulate to try and help him, but he didn't know that, and he didn't know the area, and they'd taken his passport. I mean, I don't know if that's even true, any of that. I'm just saying, you could imagine that if he'd had his passport taken away from him, he didn't know what was going on. And to be brutally honest, John obviously looked like he was high as a kite, some of the time. Maybe he just wasn't, he wasn't in a frame of mind where he was thinking straight. Maybe he thought that they were going to take him to Benidorm, or they were going to take him to the airport, and off they went. And, we just don't know what actually happened on the night. So anyway, Darren, his brother, said to the Sunday Life, my brother was assassinated. It was premeditated, planned. That's what we believe to be the truth. And there is Johnny with his brother. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems as likely to me as any other reason. Why did they do it? Whoever did, somebody shot him, somebody killed him, somebody stabbed him. Why? Why do it? Because when they did it as well, they're putting their sort of future in jeopardy themselves. Why did they do it? Did they even have a reason, or were they just so blasted out their head that they didn't even know what they were doing? So the other thing that Darren says is, my brother was no gangster. I believe he was asked to do some things he wouldn't, and he couldn't do that, and that's why he was killed. Yes, John had a past, but it was for stupid things, petty crimes. John was in a world he couldn't understand. He knew very quickly he was in trouble. That's why he rang my dad and told him that he thought something bad was going to happen to him. So it sounds like, John rang his dad and he expected something bad was going to happen to him. He was scared. You could see in that video he was concerned. People will say, why didn't he just leave? How could he? In a foreign country with no passport, and God knows what else going on around him. Those involved in John's murder must have thought that no one would miss John. No one would come looking for him, that people didn't give a shit, but they were so wrong. Darren said that John has left behind 2 lovely children who miss their daddy, as he encouraged anyone with information about his death to contact police. People out there who know anything should come forward. Should come forward for the sake of them. That's right, the children. Whatever people think about John and what he did or what he didn't do, and to be honest, sometimes people make comments And I think, well, you don't even know what John did or didn't do. No, the people who make comments, they didn't know him. They don't know that he did these terrible things. He did bad things, obviously he did. But what sort of, sometimes people say, oh, he did this and he did that. You think, well, did you know him then? How do you know he did that? He did bad things. Even his own family admit that he wasn't an angel. But, there are differences. I'm not trying to listen. If you knew me really, apart from just on YouTube, you would know that nobody's more down on drug dealers than I am, for various reasons, personal reasons. I am down. I hate people who deal drugs. I hate drugs. Just the thought, the effect that they have on families and what, the devastation that they cause. But also, I know that people make mistakes in their lives and they come back from them, and people do. John, to me, I just think just because of the support he gets as well from everyone, whatever you think of John, his family, what they've been through, and his two boys. If you don't care about John, don't care about John then. Think of him as, some druggie or some drug dealer or whatever. He deserved what he got or whatever. Well, I don't agree with that. But if that's what you want to think, well, did his boys deserve it? Do the rest of his family deserve it? Did his 92-year-old granny deserve, to have that happen to her grandson? Did his mum deserve it? Did his dad deserve it? Have a bit of Christian charity. No one has the right to judge except God, so John will be being judged now in a way on his life and what he did, what he didn't do. It's not up to us to judge, is it? And if we've got any Christian charity, if you think you're a Christian, a lot of those people that are saying those things, they're supposed to believe in God. Who gives you the right to make the judgment? It's only God can judge. But anyway, so Darren said that John has left behind two lovely children who miss their daddy, as he encouraged anyone with information about his death to contact police. People out there who know anything should come forward for the sake of them. But I am not confident, even though I would ask anyone who can help to help. In my opinion, my brother's murder was cold-blooded and premeditated. I am very black and white in my opinions. I know people say live by the sword, die by the sword, but that was not the case with my brother. I just think that's a ridiculous saying anyway. So, did John kill people then? Does John deserve to die because he actually shot people or stabbed them? No. So anyway, maybe, he was involved in drugs, and I know that drug dealers kill people indirectly. I know that. But was John even a drug dealer? I don't even know what John was or wasn't. People saying these things, they don't actually know that, that he was. Anyway, Darren and his family, Dad Billy, Mum Sharon and sisters Courtney and Caitlin are grateful that John's remains have been found and returned to Ireland. We have John home on Irish soil. We know we are lucky to have that because there are so many families who never get to bring their loved ones home, having to leave a country without ever finding them. And that does happen. There's lots of people here in Spain went missing and their families have not found them. Now we wait till Monday or Tuesday for John to be brought back to my mummy's house. So that was, after the second post-mortem, one we ordered because we will not leave a stone unturned. We will have a wake, say goodbye, and then we will start our fight for justice. We will get justice because this is what he deserves. No matter how long and hard it is, we will achieve justice. But one thing we never will get is peace. We will never have peace in our family again because of how John's life ended, how his body lay for weeks. We will never have peace. Oh, he added, my parents are broken, we all are, and I don't think anything in the world, time or whatever can fix that. I want to fix that. Seeing my parents is devastating, but I can't. It comes after John's funeral was postponed until further notice, having originally been scheduled to take place on January the 24th. So yeah, John's funeral was supposed to be this Friday. It won't be now, and now we know why, because they're having a second post-mortem now that it's turned out that John was stabbed before being shot. You know, anyway. Now, I'm sure I have missed loads of people coming in. I'm so sorry about that. Hi, everybody coming in. I'll try and just say hello to everyone. I might have missed. Hi, Rosetta. I don't think I said hello to Rosetta. Bertan. Hi, Bertan. I don't know if I said hello to JBT. Hi, Jade. Hi, Jean. Now, just before we finish, if I can find it, we'll have a look at the last that video call that John George made. Let's see if I can find it, because let's see. So you have to bear with me a little bit. Oh, I think I have found it. There you go. Well, I did find it. No, it is here somewhere. Okay, let's have a look. Now, a lot of people have said, oh, why is it slowed down? But I videoed this, I recorded this from someone else's video. So some bits of it are slowed down and some bits of it are not. So there's nothing I can do about it, I'm afraid. But there's a bit of both. Now, look at John here. You know, from the other pictures that we've seen of John, you know, how he's smiling, he looks relaxed, etc. He doesn't look relaxed on this video call, does he? He's hiding his face. He's like, I don't know, he just looks uncomfortable, doesn't he? Looks very, very uncomfortable. Now, sometimes people have asked, what has he got on his cap? I'm not sure where it says, but I'm sure that cap was probably found with him when his body was found. I mean, we haven't been given details of that. A lot of people have asked about his watch. I don't, because this watch that he shows off in this video, as we go through this video, I don't know if that was found with him or not. Maybe his family know that, I don't know. But all I know is now, what I know now about the different videos and photos and things that is, what's the word, his family have shared. He does look so different. There's no smile on this on this video. I've never seen another picture of him where he's not smiling. And then in this video, he's not smiling at all. Hi, BF. You know, so I think it's very, significant that he looks uncomfortable. He to me, he looks like he's thinking, for fuck's sake, how am I going to get out of this? That's what he looks like. Look at his eyes there. If we just go back to that, when he looks to the side, this is someone else that put this writing on. When he looks to the side, let's watch it again. I mean, just that gesture in itself, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, how am I going to get out of this? That's what it looks like. I'm only talking about an impression that I get. That's how it feels. It's not a comfortable look, is it? Yeah, when he looked to the side then, he looked concerned, I think. Yeah, did you see his eyes go off? There, he's not comfortable, is he? Bless him. Then who is this? Because I don't know if, as I say, I'm not going to mention names. I don't know if it's the person who has been arrested and then released on bail, or if it's the person that the international, national and European arrest warrant has been issued for. I don't know who this person is, but how is that? The other thing that struck me is, see how 1 minute he was videoing his face and then it went sort of over to the side? Is that 2 different videos? I'm not sure. I don't know. So I don't know where this video came from. I don't know who issued it. But anyway, when he gets on the phone to whoever he's on the phone to, this person picks up his drink and gets out of the way. He doesn't want to be on camera, does he? Who is that? Russian cartel. Yeah, and then he makes this comment about the Russian cartel, but then he puts his face over his hand again. So it's very, very, he looks really, really uncomfortable. And what is this comment about the Russian cartel? And then he touches his ear. Some people have thought there might be a significance in that. Maybe it is like, listen. Or maybe he's just touching his ear. I don't know. Sometimes people, body language experts, which of course there are no real body language experts, but they will say if someone touches their ear, they're telling an untruth. So was he telling an untruth when he was talking about the Russian cartel? Is he, what is it? Or is he saying, listen, does it mean something? I think it was a beer, admit, that they were picking up. To me, let's just go back. Now, people were saying this is a bong on the table. People with I haven't got a clue what a bong looks like, but some of my chatters who in their youth have been acquainted with bongs, saying this looks like a bong. Maybe it does. But Russian cartel. Oh, hang on. He definitely says Russian cartel. Why? I don't know. But yeah, this guy, I think, isn't that like a beer or a can of something that they pick up? Let's have a look. Go back a bit. Yeah. He goes to the table, looks to me like he's picking up a can. Yeah? Can of something. And the Russian cartel. Yeah. What's the bleed story? Yeah, he looks around again to the side there. His eyes going off to the side. I find this video is very poignant. It's like he's thinking, what can he say? How can he get out of this situation? what the fuck did I come here for? You know, all those things look like they're going through his head. It's just like, for fuck's sake, get me out of here. Beam me up, Scotty. Then he starts showing his watch off. Now, what is he saying there? Is he saying that he's got this, you know, why is he showing off that watch? Has he just bought it? Is he showing what time it is? You know, very odd. Yeah. For me, ASCD. And then that bit, honest God, just breaks my heart, this last bit, because his eyes there, when he says phone me ASAP, he looks scared. He does look scared, and he looks sad. It's almost as if he knows that, you know, gosh, it's almost like he knows. Will you watch his face now? See his eyes there, very sad. Let me just go back on. Yeah, he looks sad, doesn't he? He looks sad. Looks worried. He looks nothing like any of the other photos or videos that we've seen of John George. He was in a bad position, and he knew it, but didn't know how to get out of it. Yeah. Oh, what would you say the time was on that watch? Looks, you know, difficult, about 2:00 or something. Please don't ever get a Rolex. Is it a Rolex? I don't even know. I'm not a person who's impressed by watches or designer things or whatever. I couldn't give a shit, to be honest. It just doesn't do it for me. There's so many crimes now committed about watches. You know, people attacked and have their watches stolen off them. What's the point? Why have a Rolex? Why not just have a normal watch? What's the point in having a Rolex? What does it tell a different time? What different time does it tell? It's 2:00, whatever fucking watch you've got on, and at least then no one's going to try and take it off you. Because of course we don't, although they're saying that maybe he was killed because he wouldn't join in this crime gang or whatever, might not. We don't know that for certain. We haven't had that officially confirmed. He could have been robbed, killed for his watch. I don't know. So, I don't know. Awful. But anyway, what time is on that watch? Is it 2:00? It looks like 2:00 to me, but, actually, let me put my glasses on. Maybe I'll put my glasses on. I'll have a... No, can't see any better, really, to be honest. Let's see. Let me see if I rewind it a little bit. Yeah. It's difficult to see because of the light shining on the watch what actual time that is. Could be 1:00, 2:00, or even, I don't know. But he doesn't look happy, John. He doesn't look happy. He looks concerned. To me, he just looks like he's thinking, oh shit, what have I got myself into? That's how it feels to me. Looks sad. Phone me as soon as possible. Phone me ASAP, and he tips his cap. Very sad. So yeah, basically, so that's where we are. So the reason John's funeral has been put on hold is because they're going to give him another post-mortem, a private post-mortem, the family, because now it transpires that he may have been stabbed before he was shot, which is, I just think, how much has this family got to go through, really? It's hard enough to know that he was shot and just dumped in a lemon grove, miles away from anywhere, and they had searched for him for 3 weeks. Now they're finding out that he was probably stabbed as well beforehand. So there'll be all sorts of things will be going through the head about what he went through. And then the other news, of course, is this warrant that has been issued for someone, international, national, and European warrant. It's only a matter of time before that person gets caught. And I think people should avoid mentioning names because we don't want to compromise the case that is coming up. So I won't be mentioning their name. Lots of places are mentioning their names and whatever. I don't think that's a good thing. So the thing is, let the police do their job. They do their job well. The Guardia are good at what they do. They will get this man. They don't need anybody else's help. They will do it with their own contacts. I know, people always want to help. I understand that. You think the Guardia won't know, or the Policia Nacional, or whoever's dealing with it, or Interpol, won't know where to look for this man. Of course they will. They know where to look for him. So, and they'll find him, and he will be brought back, and he will be brought to justice. So, anyway, save us a sausage, Yvonne. Yvonne's going for a tea. We're all going for our tea. You've got to be careful because sometimes it's the other side that come up with naked. Because, like you say, we've just had this again with the Southport stabbings and whatever. I do get this. You cannot go around accusing people before it goes to court because a clever defense lawyer will use that. That's what a defense lawyer's job is. It doesn't matter when this person is caught, it doesn't matter if the defense lawyer thinks he's as guilty as sin or not. His job is to defend him and try and get him off, whether he thinks he's a mass murderer or not. That's his job or her job. And they're going to do that. And nothing better than say, oh, well, this person was named all over social media. So, never had a chance at a fair trial. Now, I do think in Spain, I don't think it will go to a jury. I'm trying to think about that. You don't do jury service in Spain. So I don't think it will go. I think it will be a judge that will decide rather than a jury. So maybe that's a good thing. Because the judge, but even you know what? You try and understand the way Spanish justice system works. Good luck. I've lived here 30 years. I haven't got a clue. I don't think even the lawyers and that understand how it works because it's so, it's unpredictable. It's not predictable like the British system or the American system or probably the Australian system. Much as they might frustrate us, at least they're predictable. We have precedent. Spain is different. Spain is always different. So we'll see. So it's just a matter of time. Oh, and something else I wanted to say before we go, because there was another case that we've been looking at. He's pled guilty today, or quietly. I'm sure David noticed, because David notices this, I'm sure a lot of you noticed, is well, I'm going to do a video about it tomorrow, but Kyle Clifford, who murdered his ex-girlfriend, her sister and her mother with a crossbow, and then tried to kill himself but was unsuccessful. He's pled guilty as well, which is, it's always good when they plead guilty, I think, because, well, apart from the fact it saves a long trial and the misery of the families having to go through everything. He's pled guilty. Kyle Clifford has pled guilty as well. So we're waiting for another guilty plea. Maybe this guy, when he's finally caught, maybe he'll plead guilty. Eh? Let's hope so. Anyway, okay, I'm off. So thank you for watching. Now, tomorrow is Thursday. And just to let you know, my number one son is starting a full-time job tomorrow. So that's an exciting day. But also tomorrow, of course, will be the sentencing of Axel Rudacabana. So I'm hoping I will be here live for all that. Even the pre-thing where the prosecution is supposed to be giving more details about the case. So that's what I'll hopefully be covering in the morning. But first of all, I've got to be a taxi for number one son, take him to his new job, a new full-time job that he's starting. He's very excited about that. So yes, suddenly he's gone from, you know, he was a bit of a person who would since COVID never really went out much except to the gym, etc. And he's just started coming out of himself and going out more. And then he started work. And now he's got a full-time job. This is it. These young people, they have to get out. I've been telling him for ages, but he never listened to me. But hey, you know what young person does listen to their parent? But it has made such a massive difference to his mental health as well, and mine. No, but you know, it's like, it's not good to just sit in your bedroom. So any young people, I do have some young people that watch me, not like under 18, no, but some people sort of in their early 20s on my audience demographics. I've got a tiny proportion. And yeah, get out there, get a job, start socializing outside, not inside. You know, it's not good. It's not good when you're younger. It's all right for me, I'm old, I've done all that. I've been out more times probably than you've had hot dinners, you know, in my youth, between 16 and, I don't know, early 20s, I've been out more times. I was out every night socializing. Now I'm not so social, but now I'm a lot older. But when you're young, you should be going out. So don't be socializing on the internet. Get out there and talk to people, get a job. Or do a course. If you don't want to get a job, do a course, do some voluntary work, do something. Don't sit in your bedroom all the time. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. Oh my God, the bunting, you know, David, I've waited a long time for this. Joe, I think it's hard these days for young people, I do. Mental health issues, also jobs are not easy to find. You know, the cost of living crisis, they're depressed. Or young people are depressed because they're looking at the internet every day. The internet is depressing. You put on the news and you think, oh shit, you know, young people are exposed to that day in, day out. So yeah, it's hard for young people. I do think it's harder for young people now, but I think a key thing is get out there, socialize one way or another. And it's hard. Sometimes you don't feel like it. It doesn't have to be, even to me, sorry, I know I'm waffling on, but it doesn't even have to be a full-time job. Just something. It could be a voluntary job. You like animals, go out and volunteer at your animal rescue. They'll be desperate for a young person to come and help, a young, strong, fit person, because it's probably mainly older people who go out and volunteer because they're retired. They don't need the money, maybe, you know, because they've got pensions or whatever. So they probably don't get many young people volunteering. or go to giving food out at a homeless shelter, depending on what your passion is. For the homeless, for the animals, a cat sanctuary, a dog sanctuary, a horse sanctuary, a donkey sanctuary, whatever it is, there's always a voluntary job that you can do. There's always something you can do, and it makes you feel good. When I was young, I used to do that as well. I do remember when I was in my early 20s looking for a purpose in life, thinking, what is the point of everything? I think when you're young, you go through that. What's it all about? What's the purpose? I still don't know what the purpose is. But I think as you get older, you just think, well, your purpose is to help other people, if nothing else. And I used to do that. I used to volunteer. I used to go and visit old people and talk to them. People don't have anyone to talk to, or take people's dog for a walk because they were disabled and they couldn't take their dogs anymore for a walk. So there's always something you can do. Okay, so I've ended up waffling just for a change, but I'll see you very soon in the next video. And until then, thank you so much, and prayers for John and George's family, and that justice for John, George, and any other case that we're dealing with. Thank you so much. Bye.